Hey everybody, so I'm here today just to do a little video to kick off the Orktoberhammer little sort of painting group project build that we're doing, kicking off on this Sunday. And so in order to kick this off, I thought I would just start by just showing something that I've actually picked up not too long ago, and I wanted to get my hands on the old White Dwarf Citadel Miniatures Painting Guide. Now, a number of these types of things have been made over the years. You can find quite a few of them of all varying sizes and focusing on different aspects of painting and terrain that have been put out. This is one that you would have gotten, I believe, for free in 1989. It's an extremely thin pamphlet. And yeah, it's 1989, and it looks like it covers both fantasy and Warhammer 40K. Now, I'm getting into the painting of the old Hammer stuff and going back to the old models and purchasing some of the coat to arms paint so I can kind of work with some of the original shades. I decided I wanted for inspiration to have one of these, and so I picked it up, and it is really nice. It's introduced by John Blanche, so for those of you, I wouldn't say I'm a master at knowing all the old names of the folks that kicked off Warhammer, Warhammer 40K, Rogue Trader, but I do recognize most of the names, and I know John Blanche is sort of a legend within the genre, and he, sort of kicked this guide off. One of the things that I really like about it, besides the fact that I'm doing orcs, and here's an example of the space orcs that we'll be doing. I'm not sure that everybody in the build's doing orcs, which is absolutely fine, but that's kind of what I'm shooting for. And one of the things that I really like, it does what many of these do, where they go through all the various phases of prepping your models and painting your models. But yeah, they show throughout the booklet and I'm just going to skip, like they go through preparing your model, undercoating your model. They start with a number of miniatures up here, like this librarian, and it looks like possibly a high elf from the back. It's an elf cloak, they say. And what they do is at various stages in the book, when they go to other things, they show the same models and just how they've progressed. Here's another space orc there too. He, I believe, is one of the original leaders models. And so you'll see here they have the librarian where they talk about shading on the model and the elf, and they also have like a knight here. And so it's really cool. They have a dwarf up here too. So they kind of go through that. In this case, when they show some other examples, but then when you're doing your highlights, they go back to them again. So they kind of follow them throughout the book. There's actually quite a bit of information. For something that was a free pamphlet back then, you're getting lots of pages of text, or lots of blocks of text on how to do this, which is really great. It was a great way to support sort of the hobby early on, like particularly with those that were maybe just getting into Warhammer because they were into the sci-fi, and it was one of the early games to delve into that genre with miniatures. So yeah, one of the things that's also cool is they show you how to do the old shields, where they literally give you a blank shield and they just paint your own designs, going through stages on it. So I thought that was really cool. And they give an example of an orc, which I should read through. On the back of the Rogue Trader, the Orc Raiders, I should say, Space Orc Raiders box, they do something similar, where they would go through and give you sort of like ideas on the paint scheme and where to go. So yeah, I haven't actually pulled out all my paints and even gotten that far yet, as far as determining which paints I'm going to do for the models that I'm about to show. But I am going to show just sort of the beginning prep models and what I'm planning to do for this challenge. And so I will be right back with those. So here are my Space Orc Raiders. Having gone through these in a bit more detail, I realized that I do have one extra model than the original set. I do believe, because I have the original box, that the individual I bought this from, it was the original set. I don't know how they got an extra model, and in one case, because the main sort of Orc boys are either kind of like this, and there's an alternate shoulder pad. So there's these guys with like this with a leather pad. There's also a group that have that look very similar, that have this alternate shoulder pad. There are also another similar type that have like a very different face and head. Now I have like 3 of these guys. I think this set came with 4, and I have an extra of the other kind, which I don't really think matters a whole lot. But I'm going to paint the whole group. The group also has some different character models and support models. Like we have this guy here. So he looks different. Looks like he's got like almost like a pistol with a melee weapon on the end as well as a bolter. And we have this guy who's got sort of like a wicked knife in one hand and a bolter, some goggles. Really interesting looking helmet. That's one of the things that was kind of interesting too, is they varied a lot of stuff. Like, like they'll just pick one guy and give him a really crazy helmet, and like nobody else will have it. It'll be like unique to him. That's one thing you don't see too often today. Like when in squads and groups and various games, it's kind of funny how they decided to do that. And then I believe this guy is the leader of the group, the unit leader. It's either him or this guy. I'm not really sure. One of the two. I know that there's something on the back of the box, I think, that indicates one of them is the leader. But he's got a nice chain sword with spikes on his hand there. He definitely looks a little bit beefier looking than some of the others. Solid. And for a support piece, they have a heavy weapon. So similar style to the other boys that, are poised to shoot, but this guy's got like a heavy bolter, it looks like. So yeah, so this is the main part of the challenge that, or the build that I'm planning on doing. But I kind of thought, at the same time that I bought these guys, I also bought an Orc Dreadnought. My box there is about to fall over. And so I kind of thought I'd like to paint this guy up too at the same time. I also have another one of these that I've recently purchased, but a smaller variant where you see the Gretchen sort of in the actual piece with the hatch open. You can do it that way. And so this one has a plasma cannon, and then it also has this one. Gosh, I used to know what it was. I was trying to think whether I think this is the heavy bolter. It's either the heavy bolter or the las cannon. I don't remember. Actually, I think it's the las cannon. I think it's the las cannon and plasma cannon. I'm sure that at a minimum, among others, Jankmaster can correct me on that. But then we've got the 2 power claws. And he's got his, I'll make a flag for that too as well, to kind of go with whatever design that I'm doing. I'm thinking I'm going to do see, these guys I'm going to do just like the box, essentially. I'm going to mirror the style, so they're going to be like Orc Raiders. They're not going to look like a particular Orc faction. And I've kind of wanted to, for my Rogue Trader stuff, stay away a little bit from a faction, although I'm not wed to that. I have some Orc nobles in power armor that eventually I'm going to be doing alongside the other Dreadnought not too long from now. And I've kind of thought I wanted to go with a red scheme, with the red, because I kind of like the red with the green Orc, like it's a nice coloration. But I'm determining whether I'm kind of wanting to do these guys as space pirates or whether I'm going to follow some sort of chapter approach. I was kind of thinking I'd like to do them as like space pirates of some kind. So yeah, renegade kind of things. So yeah, that's going to be what I'm going to do. Now, I know like whenever there's like some sort of build or thing, you know, like there's, I guess, generally rules and things like that. This is really pretty loose. I've never done any sort of group build before or organized anything before. This is meant to be really casual. It kind of started out with Jangmaster and myself just saying let's do this, and then a couple other folks have joined in. Neil Molden, as well as Helcarex has mentioned possibly joining in, and then Robert Chisholm has mentioned possibly joining in. And so essentially, I'm starting the project officially this Sunday, and just I'm going to personally look to have this done by end of November, if not sooner, but I'm looking at dedicating the month of November, at least the beginning, to doing this. People can take however long they want to, and I'll put up pictures if they want to give me pictures, or if they want to do their own videos, even better. If they have a channel and they want to do videos, that's great, and then I will link to their videos as well. And so, yeah, just if anybody else wants to join in, you can join in at any time. Just meant to be a fun thing, really no pressure. The only thing that, and it doesn't even have, I call it Orktoberhammer, or I was thinking whether I should call it Norktoberhammer, because a lot of this is going to be in November. But really the only thing that I would ask is that you sort of stick to some of the early Citadel stuff, whether it be fantasy or Rogue Trader, early Warhammer stuff. Doesn't really matter. And then, within them, it doesn't have to be orcs, obviously. It can be anything. But just in the spirit of trying to do some of the older models, I think that would really be the only requirement. Outside of that, if you want to take longer, just do it the way you want to do it. This is meant to be really casual. So, yeah. So, hope folks might enjoy this as a little side project that I'm doing, and hope that people that are joining in or want to join in have fun with this. Okay, talk to you later, everybody.